If you had the choice between a private phone where your data was secure and safe, or you had the choice of, well, what millions of Americans have, phones that track you, phones that spy on you, phones that literally sell your information to whoever's willing to buy it, no matter what the repercussions for you might be, and on top of that, you don't get any part of the profit, what would you pick? Would you pick privacy, or would you pick whatever it is we currently have? Well, I think we both know the answer. Let's get into this in Operation Better Phones. One question I get a lot on privacyxproject.com when we're going through this project and we're trying to increase your ability and to enhance your right to privacy. Well, a lot of people talk about the phone because this is the #1 device and it's actually the least secure device. You can do a lot more to your computer than you can your phone. Easy, simple, effective. The problem with these phones is they're everywhere with us. They track us, they stalk us, and they sell us out to the first bidder. It's very unfortunate. And to top it off, we're dumb enough to spend thousands of dollars for these things. So what can we do? What is the solution? A lot of people say, Cody, is there a good option for a free private phone number? Well, free is relative. A lot of people ask me, what do I do? Well, Signal is a great app. I like Signal. It's not perfect, but it's a great option, and I think everyone should switch from standard SMS text messaging to Signal, or apps like Signal. Briar is another really good one, because what it allows you to do is it allows you to have encryption, and it brings back some of your privacy and anonymity. But when it comes to your phone number, what can you do? Because now we live in a world where everything wants you to verify your phone number, including Signal. And one of the biggest downfalls of Signal is it wants a phone number. Kind of devalues privacy. So how do I sign up for my Signal accounts anonymously? Well, I use Google Voice phone numbers. You can get a free Google Voice. I set up a Google Voice through an email that I set up on a VPN, typically on remote Wi-Fi through a VPN. I'll use Whonix and VirtualBox, all things you can do free and open source. I've showed you exactly how to do here on this channel. So if you haven't already, make sure you check out Privacy X, putting out new privacy videos every single day. Also privacyxproject.com, putting out content all the time over there to help you disappear in plain sight and live a private life without having to be under a rock. But the thing is, you look at Google Voice free numbers, which I highly recommend you use, and then you look at other options for throwaway. So Google Voice is a great throwaway. I could do something, set it up. Now, anybody who follows me on Signal, and Signal over the last several months especially has become one of my main apps, and it's really cool that more people are getting on board. They're getting away from WeChat and WhatsApp and some of these apps that, again, take your data, sell your data. I mean, you don't want to be tied to these social media companies where their whole business is selling you out. Signal is a good option. There are other options as well that are a little bit more advanced, but for the average person, I've gotten a lot of people over to apps like Signal because you just get so much for virtually no inconvenience. But the one thing is the phone number. So a Google Voice throwaway number is good. But then what are other options if we don't want T-Mobile or AT&T or Verizon in the mix? Well, Mint Mobile is actually a pretty good option. And Ryan Reynolds, the superstar, is one of the owners of Mint Mobile. It's kind of interesting. Now, a lot of people in the privacy world talk about Mint because, again, you can buy anonymously, and whether you use Mint or someone else, having something like an iPhone SE or even having an iPhone 12 Pro, having any iPhone or any Android, aging SIM cards or buying SIM cards anonymously, buying a plan anonymously, which you can do, which I've talked about how to buy things online anonymously here on this channel. So make sure you check out those videos in the playlist. But the reality is, using something like Mint Mobile takes away a lot of the power of these phone companies. You know, for years, I used to use the Straight Talk, and I actually really liked it. I used them for years because there was no record. You actually couldn't even get a printout from Straight Talk for your bill, right? Whereas like if you have T-Mobile or Verizon, they've got pages and pages of the Straight Talk. It was just, now were there records somewhere? Yeah, I'm not saying they don't track it. I'm not saying they don't log it, but they didn't know who I was anyway for the most part. Now they can break it down based on your call patterns, but you can always switch it out. And that's the cool thing. When I switched my number, I didn't even switch the number. I would just get a new account. And I get a new account like every couple of months. And then it becomes anonymous again. Now, this is really important because they're building massive databases on you that kind of encompass everything. And so it breaks everything up. And they don't know who you are, and you keep breaking it up. Mint Mobile is an interesting option. Now, is Ryan Reynolds a privacy advocate? He actually kind of is when it comes to children, which I think is good. There's a big issue with children in Hollywood, and Ryan Reynolds has spearheaded some of that. So I think that's pretty cool. As far as privacy advocate, I think Ryan Reynolds is more into like clean energy, electric cars, solar power, stuff like that, which is cool. I don't think he's the biggest regular person privacy advocate, but it is a cool company offering a good product, and a lot of privacy advocates have latched onto it. And unlike a lot of Hollywood figures, we got Deadpool himself, right? If Deadpool was real, this is probably the phone he would have, Mint Mobile, because it's private and anonymous. Although I don't think a lot of people are going to be breaking into Deadpool's house. He'd cut him in half with a sword. But that's a different story. So the reality is, what is a good option? Well, the best option is to compartmentalize. And compartmentalization is really important when doing this. And one of the best options to do this is having aged phones or aged burners or having anonymous accounts online using payment options that aren't directly tied to you. So it could be something as simple as privacy.com, where you can put in your card. Now, there's always at some level, right, no matter how many layers you make, at some level, certain things are going to trace back to the real you, certain identifying factors. And so it's about building these firewalls, because it's kind of like a house. For all intents and purposes, it's virtually impossible to make something impenetrable, right? The more windows, the more doors, the more... you make weaknesses. You can make it cement encased, but it's going to have a way in and out, right? You're going to have an elevator, you're going to have an exit, you're going to have a garage door. The more things you add, the more opportunities for somebody to break in. Locks are not... The average criminal could get into your house in probably 30 seconds. In fact, I did a how to pick lock video here on this channel, and I showed how I can get out of handcuffs, police issue handcuffs, in seconds. I've been doing this for a long time. I've studied locks. I build locks. I do a lot of this stuff. But even a novice can do it fairly quick. Get into your bump keys, simple lock picks. I could pick probably 95% of your doors with a paper clip and a bobby pin. 95%. I'd be willing to put money on that. I don't care how much you paid for your lock, because the principles are the same. Now, there are some locks that are really, really, really good that I couldn't break into, and the best you couldn't break into, which is what you want. But for the average person, it's a deterrent. It isn't anything other than a deterrent. So you need to keep in mind, when it comes to privacy, it's about adding these layers and compartmentalizing. People say, well, the NSA could find you. Well, is the NSA looking for you? Most of you are trying to get away from stalkers, identity thieves, the government looking over your shoulder trying to get into your business. Maybe you've got ex-spouses. Maybe you've got... frankly, creditors. I mean, the economy, I get people reach out to me like, Cody, I'm dealing with creditors. What can I do? Is there something I can do? Oh yeah, there's a lot you can do. Let me give you my playbook, and I'll show you how to give them the old rigmarole really quick, right? How do you disappear? How do you take your information off grid? How do you get yourself out of all these databases? One thing you could do is use your old information, your old phone number, and get it into as many databases so you make the trail go cold. And by using something like Mint Mobile, or even Google Voice. Now, the problem with Google Voice is these VoIP numbers, some services won't accept them. One thing I do always before I change my phone number, I make a list of things I need to phone verify, and then like on Friday, I'll verify them all, and then I'll change my number, because I usually change my number at least once a year, sometimes twice a year. You got to change your number regularly. And my main phone number, nobody has. It's just like the key to my phone. I've got 6 or 7 numbers for friends or clients or acquaintances or business phones. So, but my main number, I don't give it to anybody, and I'll change it because that's like the link. That's like your phone number is almost like your social security number. It's tied to your real identity at a certain place, whereas you have all these layers of numbers. So keep that in mind. And so Mint Mobile is an interesting option. I really like what they've done there with their ability to be able to get into this anonymously. Now, they don't sell anonymity, but it's very easy to get, similar to what I used to do with Straight Talk. Mint Mobile is like the more modern, better option. and I recently been using them for a little while, and I really like them, and I've talked to a lot of other privacy advocates, and they absolutely love them. So that's my option when you have to phone verify, is make sure you use something like Google Voice or Mint Mobile. Is there a different service you use? Do you have a better service that you like? Are you using Deadpool's company, or are you using, that'd be better marketing. Well, they can't really do that because Ryan Reynolds doesn't own Deadpool, but that would be, that'll be the future when everything is branded, which is coming. It's coming with the way advertising is going and the way media is going, the way they're branded. That's why big data is such a profitable business, and that's why the government and these corporations won't let it go. That's why they don't want you to have privacy, because they need you to not have privacy, because they make their money. That's why governments go after encryption. China just banned Signal, right? Russia's looking at banning all these apps, Signal, Twitter, social media. They need your data in-house. That's how they make a huge portion of their money nowadays. So anyway, that's all I got to say about that. If you haven't already, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, put out new videos here on Privacy X every single day. Make sure you go all in everything you do in life, and I'll see you guys in the next video.